Tips for getting ahead in the home selling process. Everybody's heard it's a good idea to stage. Everybody's heard that it's a good idea to make sure you have good curb appeal. Everybody's heard that it's a really good idea to do a broker opinion of value to understand the value of your house. But there are some of you out there who are wanting to sell your house that really want to have that sense of being ahead and making sure that you've gone the extra mile to make sure that you are as ready as you possibly can be in order to get your home onto the market and to get top dollar. My name is Jamin Goecker. I'm a realtor in South Central Alaska with Keller Williams, and today I'm going to be talking about the top things that you need to be doing that are going to put you at a different level from all the other sellers out there that are just doing the bare minimum for what it is they need to do to be ready to be on the market. These are going to be for people who are really conscientious, and they're not necessarily required, but man, once you do all of these back to back to back, it makes the whole process a lot smoother. Before we get started though, do make sure you give this video a like, subscribe if you haven't done so already to receive more information like this, and let's go and jump into today's video. One of the biggest things that you can do as a seller when you're trying to get your home onto the market is to have an inspection done before you even put it onto the market, and then go and do a lot of the repair items that are on that inspection report, and then have the inspector come back out to reevaluate, make sure that stuff has been taken care of, and then take those items off the inspection. So this really helps you for a number of reasons. Number one, you know exactly what the strengths and weaknesses are, and I guarantee you it doesn't matter how long you've lived somewhere, there's going to be things about the property you were not aware of. For instance, I bought a house recently, and the sellers thought they knew the property really well. They'd actually had an inspection done here before, and I had an inspector go in there just to check out crawl space and some other stuff, and they found mold down there. So not a big deal. We were able to get it straightened out pretty quickly, but that's just an example of you think you know the property really well, and something's always going to surprise you. So having an inspector come in ahead of time is going to remove a lot of the surprises. And sometimes the buyer will actually accept the inspection that you already have done, and that's one less thing that you need to do. And so we can just go from having it under contract, negotiating a couple other repairs real quick, and then done. There goes one of the most stressful parts of the whole process. The second thing you can do to really get ahead of your conscientious is to make sure that you have the well and septic report done as quickly as you can. So by this, I mean there's going to be certain things where there's going to be a very specific timeline with a lot of lenders, like it has to be done within 90 or 60 days, depending on the lender. But there are certain things that you can do to at least get the engineer out there and get them doing as much as they possibly can. And as soon as they do hit a point where they're like, okay, we have the offer now, then they can go out, just get the water samples and be able to go from there. So that's something that we can do at a very minimum. You want to make sure that you have the septic tank pipes all identified. If it's out there during snow, and you've cut the pipes down, you need to put a little flag on there so the engineer's not having to spend their time trying to find your pipes. Okay, that's not their job. Their job is be an engineer, not to be out there shoveling your backyard because we lost your sewage pipes. So make sure that you're conscientious about that, and that's going to make the whole process a lot smoother. The third thing that you can do that's really going to set you apart as a seller is to get the HVAC work done as soon as possible. We know we're going to have to do this anyway, and once we start getting into the colder months, I guarantee you it's going to start getting more difficult to find HVAC guys to come over and to take a look at the property, because everybody wants to have their work done right before the winter time, which makes sense, but it does put a lot of stress on the entire HVAC industry. So being able to bring somebody in and take a look at it right before we go onto the market is going to save you a step later. It's going to give the buyer really a lot of peace of mind too, because we can actually give that to them as they're considering the property, just to say, hey, look, this was done a month ago, a couple weeks ago, everything checked out, and we're good to go. Let's take a break real quick. For those of you who've been watching for a little bit, you know that I have a seller guide for people who are considering making a move happen. If that's something that would benefit you, please make sure you go to my website. Link for that's going to be in the description section down below. Register to the website, and then put seller guide in the comment section so I know what to send you. So yeah, make sure you go ahead and do that, and let's go and finish today's video. This next point is something that not a whole lot of people think about, but getting the title company to start pulling some title reports on your property. So what I mean by this is there's going to be a lot of background research that happens and verifying you are who you say you are, and making sure that the chain of ownership has been passed on legally and making sure that you have the legal title to the property and you can transfer it to somebody else. So what I would say with that is let's just, if we can, make sure we can get that work started ahead of time. So as soon as a buyer does come in, we can just tell them, hey, look, we've already got title opened over at this title company with so-and-so. And if you guys want to work with them, we're starting out a couple weeks ahead as far as the back end process with the title company goes. So we know we're not going to be waiting on anybody. Now, this next point, for some people, it's impossible. For other people, if you can do it, great. But it is to try to move as much of your stuff out of the house as you can before you go onto the market. So this might look just like moving most of your stuff to the garage at least and leaving the living areas feeling a lot more open and making it feel more like an area where a buyer can come in and visualize themselves living there. Really, that's what we're going for, is we want it to feel as accessible to them as possible. So that would definitely be the big thing for you to do if you can. For some people, it's not possible. You've got tons of kids and everything. Let's not add a whole lot of stress just because we're trying to avoid stress. But that just is an option if you're in a position where you can pull it off. This next one really involves more on how we interact with the MLS, but that is going into coming soon status. So what coming soon status is when we're looking at the multiple listing service, we can actually go into coming soon status. And what this means is we can be advertising the property, we can be talking about it, we can't let anyone in to show them just yet, okay? So anyone who reaches out to me and says, hey, can we get in a little early before it goes active? I mean, the answer is absolutely no every time. So going into coming soon means that we can advertise it. We can start getting interest in it. It's going to be going to all the real estate agents who are out there who have buyers, looking for this specific kind of property. So they can start preparing their clients and getting them all ready to go. So once it does go live, like they're in and they're ready to go and they already know everything about the property. Now, yes, we can be in this status for up to 15 days before we go onto the market. So we want to make sure that we really leverage that time as best as we possibly can. And, that's going to be another thing that's really going to set you up for success. All right, last but not least, this is kind of common for really all of my clients, but if at all possible, it's best if we can go on to the market like right before the weekend, like let's say Friday. And then if you and the family or everybody else in the house can step out maybe for the entire weekend and just make it really easy to show the house. So this is pretty common for everybody. So I'm not necessarily going to say it's being really conscientious, but it is being very intentional about when our best opportunities is to sell the house, because the best opportunity for us is going to be when the house is new and fresh on the market. That's when you can get your top dollar amount, and really making it as available as possible is really going to put you in a good spot. Because you'd be surprised. We have some people where we'll put it on the market, and then there's like no availability. Every time we ask for a showing, it's like, no, I don't want anyone over here right now. No. It's like, well, I mean, buyers aren't going to make an offer if they can't see the property. It's kind of like opening a business and then just having the sorry, we're closed sign up 24/7. It's like, well, what was the point? So these have been kind of that next level steps you can do if you're trying to get your home sold. I sure hope it's been useful. If it has, give this video a like, drop any questions you have in the comment section down below, and we'll see you next time.